everyone, welcome back. It is time for another wrestling review. We are flying back to Japan for this review. We are doing a special New Japan, All Japan, and Pro Wrestling Noah cross promotion called All Together Again. This is the third in a line of the All Together promotions. The first two were done to benefit. I think one was for the earthquake and the other one was for the tsunami. And this one is the memory of Antonio Inoki. So, long show. This was not, before we get into this, let's preface it by saying that this was also a show that had no stakes this was just basically all the top superstars from all three promotions fighting against each other in supercard matches, basically.
Yeah.
So with me once again, we have Campo Reviews, the man who reviews movies, TV shows, wrestling. Go check out his review of Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, coming soon to RLG Cast. I'll have the link in the description box so you guys can go check that out as well. Let's get started. Did you catch the pre-show match as well?
Yeah, I don't know.
That was the one with Taguchi and Yo against Super Crazy.
Oh,
Alejandro.
yes.
Yeah.
Really long.
It was one of the longest. This was the second longest match on the card, and this was a pre-show match.
It was way too long.
Yeah, it was. Absolutely, it was. Super Crazy and Taguchi had a few fun spots, though.
Yeah.
And
I mean, it wasn't a terrible match or anything. It was just way too long.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, for what it was, like, I mean, this was the opening match, and I thought to myself, oh boy, if this is the opening match, we're in for a long night.
Yeah. It was good.
Yeah, it was. It wasn't, like I said, Taguchi was his usual self. We didn't get serious Taguchi from the Super Juniors.
Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, I get it's because this event is meant to be just like a random ass event.
Yeah.
But it's like weird. There's like continuity issues.
Yeah, it was this had a bit of everybody from all three promotions.
Yeah, so, a nice spread.
Yeah. So with that, the main show starts. Our first match off the bat is Chaos of Tomohiro Ishii and Goto and Yoshihashi defeating Masaki Kitamiya, Inaba, and Yoshiki Inamura. I didn't know who some of these people are because I'm not too familiar with All Japan.
Yeah, neither am I. This was a surprisingly good match considering that it was Inamura and Ishii, who are two guys that I'm not like huge fans of.
Yeah.
But like I don't know, I kind of get it. Like watching them go at each other and like bump into each other off the ropes was like pretty fun.
It was fun to watch like the two big hosses hit each other, and for an opening match, this is exactly what you wanted out of it, right? You know, crowd, like especially like Goto and Yoshihashi, you know, now that they're the double champions, it gets the crowd into it, like somebody with name value right off the bat kind of thing, and it gets the crowd hyped up and excited for what's to come, right? But other than that, it was just your basic 6-man tag match,
which I normally don't like.
Yeah. And I think it was Yoshihashi and Goto that went over. So it's a fun match. With next we have one of the more enjoyable matches for me on the show. We had Chris Ridgway and Sean Legacy against TMDK of Zack Sabre Jr. and Kosei Fujita. Okay. This was the most I've seen Fujita in a long time.
It's the most I've ever seen him wrestle. Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen him actually wrestle.
And he's not bad. He's
pretty good. Zack Sabre Jr. is Zack Sabre Jr. It's hard to really just match whatever he's doing.
But Ridgway was going almost blow for blow with him.
I'm not a fan. Like I understand how this match was made. It's kind of in the sense of like we need to also try to hype up these guys. Yeah. So we'll put Zack Sabre Jr. in a match with 3 nobodies. And that's how it felt to me. Not that the match was necessarily bad, but I had a hard time caring at all because this felt like a pre-show match, like in vibe, because it's just like there's no name recognition here except Zack Sabre Jr. At least to general people, right? You'd have to be like a super locked into whatever promotion they're in. I don't even know what promotion Ridgway and Legacy.
I believe they are Noah. They're both Noah.
So yeah, it is what it
is. Ridgway's part of the junior heavyweight tag champs.
Oh yeah, that's right. Actually, you're right.
with Ogawa,
Yeah.
which
It's
is
it's fine.
yeah,
It was a good. Okay, no, like I'm underselling it. The match was actually pretty good.
yeah. I mean, and surprisingly, Ridgeway and Sean Legacy go over.
Yeah, they're trying to do something with that. You
Yeah,
could
I
tell.
think I think they also don't want every New Japan guy to win.
Oh, they could be setting up some sort of tag rivalry here between them.
That's true too. That's true too. Or maybe a Ridgeway versus Zach.
Yeah, that could be pretty likely too for the
Yeah.
TV title.
Yeah, because the vibe I got from this would be the equivalent of basically if you take WWE, Impact, and AEW and all putting together one big show.
Yeah.
So, next we got Shota Umino against a legend, former WWE superstar in Yoshitatsu.
Yeah.
This was good for Umino.
Very good. Another one. This is sort of a strange match, right? They're just banking on the fact that obviously I'm sure most of the Japanese fans that are there know both wrestlers. But if
Yeah.
you're just an outsider watching this, like I know who both of them are, but you're gonna
Yeah,
be
but so
like,
would most people from like 2000s. Like if you watch WWE in the 2000s, you know who Yoshitatsu
but
is,
you're
and if you watch
banking a lot on the fact
yeah,
that someone watched wrestling in the worst time of wrestling history.
right?
Um, so it's like it's kind of up in the air. It's just a strange match to me, but I get it,
Yeah.
and it was actually good.
Yeah, and it like I said, it's also good for someone like Umino. Like now you've just beaten somebody with name recognition too. You know what I mean? So it keeps building his character and keeps
It was all fun. Like this whole event is like designed to for fun. Like if you see if anyone we didn't talk about it, but there's an opening like monologue from the
Mm,
three like aces,
yeah,
and I mean that was pretty cool. The shows were just here.
yeah.
It's
Let's
just a
have a
fun
good
time.
time. Yeah, let's have a good time. So with that, we're going into our next match, which was a tag team match of Axes of Shiozaki and Nakajima against Satoshi Kojima and Hokoto Omori. This was a good match as well.
Yeah.
I really like Axes.
I've become a massive fan of Nakajima. Like
Yeah,
massive. He's become like he's just he doesn't give a shit about anyone. His
yeah.
attitude is so like I don't care and I love it. Um yeah,
Very Naito-esque almost.
ish ish,
Yeah.
yeah. I think he's a little bit more like badass.
Okay.
Like he's a little more hardcore than Naito is. Naito's
Yeah.
like just a dick.
Yeah.
Um but like Go is a legend
Yeah.
and
And
it's
so is Kojima.
yeah, so it's like it's good. This I actually really enjoyed this match. This is the point of the pay-per-view when everything just started feeling like okay, I'm actually having a really good time. Because like I
Yeah.
said, the first matches, the first, I guess what do you want to call it, the pre-show and the first three matches,
Yeah.
they're not bad, but I didn't care. Like you know what I mean? Like I said, it didn't
Yeah.
feel like anything was there. And then when we got to this one, it was like your normal Noah slash New Japan really hard hitting match
Yeah.
where it
Very
felt like there was a lot on the line here, even though there was nothing on the line.
there was nothing on the line. But I mean, this could be setting up because I know Omori's in All Japan, and I think Kojima's he's what still in New Japan,
Yeah.
and Axis they're part of Noah
Yeah, well, they're all crossing over right now because Keno is the tag champion for
in
all
in All
Japan
Japan. Yeah. And fun
and
fact,
Dragon Gate.
Keno was in the last one as well.
Yeah, see, there you
Keno's
go.
been a lot longer than around a lot longer
And
than
he's
we
only
thought.
38.
Yeah. So I mean, Axes go over. You clearly, I think they're your tag champions right now, anyway, right? So,
Rightfully so.
right. So next we're going into our sixth match of the night, which was Strong Style of Minoru Suzuki, Ren Narita, and El Desperado against Marufuji, Segura, and Miyawaki.
Well, I think we all love Segura.
Yes,
Marufuji is like
another legend.
arguably top 5 wrestlers right now in Japan.
Hmm.
That's just so misused.
Yeah,
Like
Marufuji is so
he's
misused
getting the
in Noah.
Tanahashi treatment. He's way too young for it. But he's getting treated like as if your career's over, you're just here just put people over.
Yeah.
We'll throw you in all of these weird 3-man matches to sell tickets.
Yeah. I mean, he's not that much. He's 43.
Yeah, but
Marufuji.
like watch his go compared to
Oh yeah,
Tanahashi.
Tanahashi's knees don't work anymore.
Yeah, watching Tanahashi get kicked in the leg and his little
Yeah,
pretend buckle scares me every time.
yeah. You think that one moment you could think, oh, that's the end of it.
Yeah, because he looks very fragile now.
Yeah,
Not okay, he doesn't look like it, but he wrestles like it.
yeah. An interesting fact: Minoru Suzuki, first guy on this card that was a champion in all three promotions.
Wow. Yeah, Suzuki's a legend. And they talked about it recently that him and um Taka Michinoku hate to
Hmm.
be called legends because
Yeah,
they
eh?
don't believe that they are. But
I would put Suzuki over Michinoku any day,
I mean,
but
I think
like,
they both belong there. But yeah, Suzuki is like his career is like very storied.
yeah, it's a very. I think they may be giving this, may be starting that Suzuki, gonna give that Noah treatment to Suzuki on the way out, or
I
not the
think
Noah, the
it's
Muda,
it's weird because he said he was going to retire, and then he disbanded Suzuki Gun, and
and then he
then he
created
just
Strong
keeps
Style.
going. Yeah, and now he just
But
keeps
I thought,
wrestling.
and the thing too, after Strong Style lost the belts, I thought that was it for them.
I guess they really have a lot of faith in Ren Narita, and
I mean, they got to really start, like I said, New Japan has to start really thinking about the future, especially like with Noah. They have a lot younger talent as well that they're really pushing. New Japan, they really got to start pushing people like Umino, Narita, Fujita. Like these guys really need to start.
yeah, poor Oleg Bolton. The guy is just freaking always in the pre-show in those stupid matches, and he's like way better than any of those guys in those matches.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, they're doing what they're doing, and I think Ren Narita, I like the path they're building him up as this like new version of Suzuki, where
Yeah.
he's just like a badass. I'll chop the shit out of you.
Yeah.
I'm
Beat
not
you
scared of
down.
anyone,
Yeah.
you know. And then but the problem that I have is all three of their main new guys are all being pushed in a similar style of like I'm a super badass, like
Yeah.
Suji, Shota and Renrita all have like a very similar gimmick of
Yeah.
like
The only
I'm
one
the
that's a little
outcast.
different is a Fujita,
Yeah, he's the only one.
where they're trying to groom him to be more technical, more.
That he's gonna be like Zack Sabre Jr. Like you could
Yeah.
see with the people they're putting them with, right? Like clearly, you know, it's
Yeah.
weird that those three all have like a really similar like outcast gimmick.
Yeah, projection maybe, I guess is
Yeah.
a good word for it too. What was I going to say about that too? And they were really playing up El Desperado in the commentary on this match. If you noticed that, they were really making mention to the fact that this year wasn't his year for the juniors again. You know, every year the guy comes close and never really. I think Desperado is being poised for a big run next year on the Super Juniors.
I do too, but then again, remember that they also did this with Naito in the G1 tournament and nothing has come of it yet.
Yet, unless something happens on this G1 tournament.
New Japan has this weird booking of like this person has failed for the whole career. They're gonna do it this year. No, they failed again.
Yeah, it's true. They do that. But
It's
this
weird.
was a really, this is like you said, this is the point for me when things really started to ramp up and really start like getting invested in the matches, because like everybody else from here has name recognition, either legends or up and comers or superstars that are in the on their own respective companies. So this is really where it started to ramp up for me. And from a really good match, we go to another really good match of United Empire of Jeff Cobb, Great O'Khan, Aaron Hanare, and TJP and Francesco Akira against the Saito brothers, Ryuki Honda, Hikaru Sato, and Don Tamura. This was
This
a
match surprised
crazy,
me
crazy.
because on the other team I knew literally none of the people.
I just knew a little bit of the Saito brothers because they're tagged.
I
Like
mean, I've heard of them. I've never seen them wrestle.
I caught a little bit of this when they were like when they did some MLW stuff and stuff
Yep.
like that. So,
But I mean, at first it was hard because I didn't care.
mm-hmm.
It's like I said, when the one whole team is just people that I don't know at all, it's just hard for me to latch on to it. And it's like United Empires they trot them out for these
Yeah.
stupid matches, and you're like, oh, it's 5 on
Oh,
5.
but
Like, who
one
cares?
spot had me in stitches though. I forgot who Khan had on the ground, and he just licks his thumb and shoves it up the guy's ass.
Oh yeah, that was so good. They put the camera to like block it. Yeah, but it was Great O'Con.
He did the that's what he did. Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, it was really funny.
But they had like some great outside ring work as well. Like it was chaos without being chaotic. If that's
It was a fun match.
yeah,
And Great O'Con after gave like a little thing, like
little
he's basically challenging anybody that wants to challenge them.
challenge him.
I find it really weird. So are Kyle Fletcher and Mark Davis out of
I don't
the
know.
United Empire?
I don't know because their contracts are with AEW, but
Yeah,
AEW also has Bullet Club Gold. Could they call this United Empire West?
or they could just be in United Empire.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's just weird because you'd think like Kyle Fletcher's not doing shit right now. Why wouldn't he be flown out to be part of the match? You know,
yeah. Well, I think they wanted to keep this strictly to people who are signed to those three promotions.
maybe, but it's like you lost 3 people in that faction
Right.
really quickly.
I think this was also the only match that had Gaijin wrestlers. Yeah.
Mm, no,
No, Ridgeway.
and
Yeah.
Zack Saber Jr.
Yeah. That's right.
and Super Crazy.
That's right. Okay, yeah. So, but still, like it was good. Like you said, United Empire, they bring them out whenever they want to get the crowd hyped up, whenever they want. Like everybody's behind United Empire. Francesco Akira has now made it a habit of cursing in Italian every time.
Yeah, and Kevin Kelly really likes that.
Yes, I just found out that's a bad word in Italian. But that always makes me laugh. It always gets a chuckle out of me being Italian to hear somebody else swear in Italian, right? So, but next we go into our another 6-man tag match of Yuji Nagata, absolute legend, Suwama, another legend, and an up and comer in Yuma Anzai against Lij, Naito, Shingo, and Bushi.
Oh, really good.
Yeah, like the exchanges between Nagata and Shingo, Suwama and Shingo, and exchanges with Naito as well. We're all like these guys are obviously guys that have been around doing this a long time and they know what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised. Okay, I know it wasn't like an epic like timed match, but it was like close to 10 minutes, I believe.
Yeah,
And Nagata was in the ring for a lot of it.
yeah.
Like he can still go.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. He's one of the longest reigning heavyweight champions of all time, I think, too. In New Japan, like he's an absolute legend. Yuji Nagata is someone I remember from watching wrestling in like the early 2000s, like Japanese wrestling, back when it was like, you would exchange like, oh, this is a random DVD I got from Japan. You got to check this stuff out.
Yeah, Suwama is a monster too. His amount
He's
of
been
like,
around for a while too.
I think he has the most title wins ever for the championship title.
Yeah, I think
It's like
his
8 or
is,
9 times.
for the All Japan. He's an
Yeah,
8-time, he's an 8-time Triple Crown champion, and I think he's a 7-time tag champion as well. So
Yeah, he's probably the most decorated wrestler ever in All Japan
in All
history.
Japan. Yeah, I would say to that. And so you have like absolute legends, like and an up and comer. I noticed that they're doing that too. They'll throw in that one up and comer with a match full of just one, so that young lion can get that exposure and that experience from working with these legends. And like, so it's a very smart way of like booking for the future and planning for the future.
But the other 2 companies did that better today
Than All Japan.
than New Japan.
Right, that's true. New Japan,
All Japan, and a lot of the matches had like a random guy that was like not like there's 2 greatest hits and then this random guy, and then
and a B-side.
Exactly, and then Noah was doing the same thing where New Japan was just like, oh, here is Lij.
Yeah. See, this is where someone like what's his name there, the one that fought Sonata last week. He could have benefited by being in this match instead of Bushi. You could have put Suji in this match.
At least they had him come outside to the side of the ring, and it's funny because he spends the rest of the match carrying Bushi around outside the ring towards the end. Ring.
Yeah, but I mean, maybe he could have probably benefited by being in this match, right?
Yeah, but I think maybe he got hurt or something. Who knows? Maybe they're trying to like slow it down. But this was actually a pretty good match.
Yeah, it was a very good match.
In
Lots of fun.
typical LIJ fashion, they lose.
Yeah, of course. Bushi got pinned
It's like,
as always because
hey,
Naito
three
and
of the
Shingo.
best wrestlers we have on our whole roster, they're going to lose again.
Yeah. So, like you said, that's that New Japan booking. Oh, we got something big planned for them. Nope, they're gonna lose.
Yeah, it's like, congrats.
Right. Next, we're going into another 6-man tag match, which I really enjoyed. This one as well was the good-looking guys of Tadasuke, Yohei, and Jake Lee against the 5 guys of Takamichi Inoki, Yoshinobu, Kanemaru, and Sonata.
Well, we know what a big Jake Lee guy you are.
I really am. I really enjoy watching Jake Lee. And Jake Lee right now is their heavyweight champion. He's a GHC world heavyweight, and Sonata is your IWGP heavyweight champ. So you have your promotion's 2 top guys in this match.
And Yohei, isn't one of them a tag team champion?
I think Yohei is.
It's the light heavies, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, hey, they're doing with good looking guys. They're trying to capture what they're doing in New Japan with just 5 guys.
Yeah, which is fine. And this really was also for Sonata. This was another good showcase. He is having a good run, even though he's not like this match. The title wasn't defended. This was a good show. Like
the purpose of this match was to have him like unintentionally face Jake Lee without it having any stipulation of titles.
Yeah, no title for title, and because they were in the ring together for quite a while.
Yeah. And Sonata looked great.
Yeah, and so did Lee. So did so did all of them. Like even Michinoku, like, and Kanemaru, like we said it, we keep saying this, like a few months ago, Kanemaru was a joke. He was like your drunk uncle at the party, and now he's like a legitimate contender.
This is the thing in New Japan. They have a lot of wrestlers that are over with the fans, but they don't do anything with them. And then
like Taguchi is a good example too.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere, they just boom, have a rock and you're unexpected, and this guy's just taking off. And Kanemaru had a great showing in Tag League, and then also in
the juniors.
And I don't think he's gonna win again. I mean, he's a legend in the junior division.
Yeah, I don't think he needs it for the clout anymore.
But you could always, this is what you could do with him. You can loan him out and let him wrestle in as a big name in All Japan.
Yeah.
Let him win their junior heavyweight title. And then it helps that company get over, and it gives Kanemaru some clout in your company.
The guy who's in the next match, Ayogi. Ayogi is the All Japan junior heavyweight champ. Kanemaru versus Ayogi. That could be a good match. Like,
I mean, I want to see the 3 of them go. Takahashi, Ayogi, and Amakusa.
Yeah.
Even though everyone keeps saying his name is Amaska.
Isn't
is it
Hayata the champ?
Or is it
but Hamaya's the champ though. Hayata's the champ.
Is Hayata the champ now?
Hayata's the champ. He beat Amaska. Amaska's the number 1 contender.
Well, either way, I think I want to watch that match over Hayata.
Yeah. Yeah, have a 3 corners match. But the good-looking guys actually go over. Jake Lee gets the pin on Kanemaru. Was it Kanemaru or was it Saka? One of those 2. Point is, Sonata did not get pinned. So they keep Sonata strong. But this was good. Yeah, no worries. I'm looking forward now, after watching some of these Noah guys, I'm looking forward to like the next Noah pay-per-view. I think that's in 2 weeks, where it's going to be Jake Lee against Segura for the championship.
So, but this could be why Segura of all people.
Yeah.
It's like, he's not going to win.
Yeah. But it's a good it could be a good match for Jake Lee to showcase I'm beating. It's more of a legend beating. But
you could see a lot of these potential things that happen here being directly because they want to do it at the pay-per-view, right? Like there could be a few New Japan people crossing over, like to Zack Sabre Jr. for the title, because I don't think he's wrestling at Forbidden Door.
I think he is. We'll see. We'll see when the time comes. It's only 2 weeks away. There's not too many matches announced for that. 2 matches still?
We know it's going to be 11.
Yeah.
They have to go full
plus 5 pre-show matches.
Yeah. It's just going to be Eddie Kingston 5 times.
Against every Japanese legend there is.
Yeah, exactly.
So with that, the good-looking guys go over. Next, we get into our next match, which was basically your top 2 junior heavyweights from all your promotions facing against each other in a 6-man tag match, you have Takahashi, Ayagi, and Amaska. I guess they call them Amakusa. I always call them Amakusa, but it's Amaska, I believe.
But it's like I said, there's two different specific sayings of it. There's the English saying and then the Japanese people, and they both sound completely different.
Yeah, because you like with Okada, you get Kazuchika and you get Kazuchika.
Yeah, so it's like I'm like JR always calls him Kazuchika, so
yeah,
or Kazuchika. Get that Kazuchika Okada.
Oh my God! But yeah, this is basically your top six talents in your junior heavyweight division in a 6-man tag. Takahashi and Ayagi are the champs on their respective promotions, which is New Japan and All Japan. And on the other side, you have Hayata, which is the junior heavyweight GHC junior heavyweight champion in Noah. This was a fantastic match. Like this was
match of the night, hands down.
Yeah. Like
not
as much as I feel Takahashi is getting a little stale as the champ.
Yeah, but he can go.
That's exactly it. He can still go, and I understand why they have the belt on him is because I think this may be like, I don't want to say a final run, but it's maybe his final big run.
Well, he did have a really serious injury, right? And missed a lot of time.
Yeah.
But it's like he doesn't need the title.
No, at this stage of his career,
on that hill. He's good enough that he doesn't need that to show that he's good. He's already proved what he can do.
Yeah.
And it's time for someone else.
Like Naito.
Yeah.
As much as we want to see a belt around Naito.
I mean, yeah, okay, that's fair. But he should be the champion because he's the best wrestler of all time.
But I mean, that's exactly it, though. He doesn't, or even you can even go like Tanahashi. Like he doesn't need a belt. Let's just throw the never open 6-man tag on him just for it.
They keep doing it. Like that's like their go-to. Oh, here's a belt. Let's just give it to Tanahashi. And it's like he doesn't need any more belts.
Yeah, that's true.
Let someone who deserves the belt win.
And I noticed too, on average, every match on this show was 8.5 minutes.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure like every match was the exact same length.
Yeah. I'm looking at the stats right now. The last 3 matches, 8 minutes 31 seconds, 8 minutes 34 seconds, and 8 minutes 34 seconds.
Well, it's because they wasted like 4.5 hours on that first match.
Yeah. But this, like you said, this hands down was the match of the night. It has everything that you wanted in a junior heavyweight match in this match. Like you had outside spots, you had high flying spots, you had innovative offense, you have elements of lucha, elements of like technical wrestling. It literally, this match had it all.
Yeah, it was an excellent match. It was fast paced.
Yeah.
There was a lot of good technical work. There was a lot of good rope stuff. The characters are really fun. I noticed like All Japan has 2 types of characters. They're either super happy-go-lucky or they're like the cockiest people who ever lived. There's no like other type of character in that company.
Yeah.
But I liked all of their champions. All the champions who came out seem like I understand why this guy is a champion.
Yeah. And Takahashi and Yagi and Amaska go over against Master Wato, Hayato, and Hayata.
Yeah.
Next, our main event of the night. This is on paper. This is your dream match. You have basically your 6 top stars in your promotions in a match against each other. You got Tanahashi, Miyahara, and Kiyomiya against Okada, Yuma Ayagi, and Keno.
I mean, I think you could have replaced
Ayagi?
Brain not working. Ayagi. But I mean, actually, you know what? No, you couldn't. He was like the spot on.
Kiyomiya also needed to be there too.
You could make a debate for Noah that Shiozaki should be here over like Kiyomiya or Keno.
No, but Kiyomiya needed to be there for the feud with Okada.
And I totally get that.
Maybe but then Miyahara too. The guy's a legend too, right? He's another one that's, I mean,
it's hard. It's hard to decide, but like you could easily slot in Go or oh my God, what's his name? The guy that I always complain about that he's underutilized. Marufuji. Both could have been in this. Who cares? They're all on this pay-per-view. Noah has a lot of big names. And people sleep on them a lot.
But one of my favorite parts is at the beginning of the match. Kiyomiya's just like staring down Okada, and Okada's just like ignoring him as he's taking off. Like he's not
Okada
even
purposely just kept walking right by him.
yeah. Which
Um,
I have a feeling this is going to lead to something big at the G1 because they're both in the
it is.
G1.
They hinted at it too. They said it multiple times. It was fun. This was a fun match. It was a lot too long.
Yeah, this one was the longest match of the
I'm telling
card.
you, it got to. I rewound it obviously,
Mm-hmm.
but I got to a point where I was like, okay, I got to go to the bathroom. Then I went to the bathroom and said, okay, let me grab a snack. And I came back expecting the match to be over and I'm going to have to rewind. There was still like 10 minutes left in the match.
Yeah,
It,
this
it,
is a
it's
25-minute match.
it was not a bad match by any means, but it was unnecessarily long by like
Yeah.
10 minutes longer than it probably should have been.
Yeah. On a super card, a show like this, you want your matches to be quick, short, and fun.
I would have rather had the match before this have been 25 minutes.
Yeah.
And you could have made this 8 minutes and 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Because watching Tanahashi wrestle for 10 minutes is hard.
It's hard now. As much of a legend as Tanahashi is, his legs don't work as well. I said it before.
But it's getting repetitive, right? Because every pay-per-view we watch now involving New Japan, there has to be some kind of match with Tanahashi.
I think
it's always long.
I think it's in his contract.
It might be, but it's like he's always in a match and it's always a long match and it always takes place somewhere in the higher part of the card where we don't need that match.
So let's compare this to something like North American style. So you have John Cena. John Cena is part of the WWE.
John Cena.
Okay. He's a part-timer now. He can't go as much as he used to. But he's still under contract to WWE and they trot him out whenever they need a big name. Like they did this year at Mania. John Cena will say, hey, if you don't put this in my contract, I'm going to head over to AEW. And can you imagine AEW bringing in John Cena?
John Cena.
The reaction and just the buzz that it would create?
Yeah, okay, but like...
And this would be the same thing.
Tanahashi's leaving New Japan. Or even threatening to leave New Japan.
He's a career guy there, so I can understand that too.
I'm sure he's getting well taken care of.
Yeah.
Like to the point where no company's going to be able to do more than what they're doing for him.
Yeah, that's true too.
But
in the end, Okada does get the pin.
Yeah, and like good match, but like too long.
Way too long. So with that was the end of the show. We clearly already said it. Match of the night was the junior heavyweight 6-man tag match. That was the most fun. It could have benefited from a little bit longer, and the main event could have benefited from a little bit shorter. So with that, what's your review on the show, or what's your score on the show?
Okay, so I'm gonna preface this with like my thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you just go into this and you're expecting story and like really good wrestling, you might be missing the point. If you go into this just to watch wrestlers that you know and maybe get an opportunity to learn about new wrestlers and just take it for the fun time that it's trying to be, especially when they all do their speeches like at the end and after matches and at the beginning, it really, you get the sense of like this is important to them culturally in the Japanese wrestling scene.
Mm-hmm.
And they just wanted to have a really good time. And I think when you watch this, it is just a really good time. And I think I have to go 7-5 because I think that's just, it's better than good, but it's nothing special of a pay-per-view. But if
there were more stakes, then maybe.
Yeah, it generally just is a fun time watching wrestling, and you can't go wrong.
And I always say this, that's all I want at the end is just a good time and to be entertained. And I'm right there with you. I gave it slightly higher. I gave it a 7.6. Our reviews are becoming very, very close because our tastes are very, very similar in wrestling as well. So,
well, at this point,
yeah, because we've been doing this long enough now. So, but yeah, 7.5, same thing for me. If you're going into this expecting, championship matches and stuff like that, this had none of that. But if you're going in just looking for a good time, learning about some, like, for example, like for me, I went in not too familiar. I'm very familiar with New Japan. I'm pretty familiar with Noah, but I don't know much about All Japan at this stage of their company. It was a good opportunity for me to learn about the New Japan or All Japan, I should say, and learn about some of the characters. And maybe now that I know some of them, go back and watch some of their other stuff too. So
Yeah,
that's
I think it's fair to say that. Well, along with probably if we can figure out how Dragon Gate works,
yeah,
their largest, their WrestleMania, their Wrestle Kingdom, I think will be on the review table like options
yeah.
for those two companies. But I can't see us digging any deeper into any more Japanese
Companies.
companies at this point. It's
Yeah.
already too much.
We're already doing like we're fully into New Japan. We're part way into Noah. We're part way into Stardom. I think getting any deeper now would be
Yeah, with
it's the reason
everything
why
else
we
that's
don't
going
touch
on.
MLW or NWA.
Yeah, but I think with those companies, right? It's any
Yeah.
of those companies, AAA and CMLL. I think it's the option to review their biggest events will be on the table. But
Yeah.
like getting into it to the point where we're going to be able to give you knowledge on it is probably not happening.
Not happening. Yeah. Stick with what we know. So with that out of the way, thanks again for joining us. Tune in tomorrow will be our review of Impact's Against All Odds, which had a main event of Burt Macklin, FBI, against Alex Shelley. So join us tomorrow for that. With that out of the way, thanks again for joining us. Goodbye and good.